I'm going to start off by apologizing. This real dry weather does something to my vocal cords, and I sound like I have a sore throat, but I don't. It's just my shrunken vocal cords or something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure. Little introduction. Trish and I bought our home here at Mission Lakes in 1989. That makes us members here for 27 years. Matter of fact, it was next month in April that we did that. We just wanted to have a weekend getaway to get away from the LA area craziness and 1,000-mile-an-hour lifestyle. And this seemed like a good opportunity to do that. We didn't buy it as a retirement home. We just bought it as a weekend getaway. We both grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, back when it was a pretty reasonable city. I was educated by Catholic nuns and Jesuit priests. Trish was pretty much the same. Went to a private all-boys high school run by Jesuits. Great education. They're wonderful people, but tough to deal with. After that, I went to the Marine Corps for 4 years. And after I got out of the Marine Corps, I was fumbling around with some jobs that paid the bills. I was going to night school to get my degree at Johns Hopkins University. Once I started working a real job and moving around and traveling quite a bit, I wasn't able to fulfill the degree thing. But I got hired by the Gillette company. We worked our way across the country with several promotional type relocations with Gillette. We went from Baltimore to Philly to Boston to Atlanta to Cincinnati to Dallas and LA. And that was a period of 31 years. Of course, the 16 of those years I spent right here on the West Coast as the Western Region Director of Sales and Trade Marketing. There were 4 of those type positions in the country. I was one of the 4 guys. I had responsibility for management of sales managers, administrative staff, salespeople, etc., of roughly 100 people, $600 million sales volume responsibility, and managed a $3 million trade marketing budget. About 8 years ago, Trish and I we'd go around traveling in the summer, and we got a chance to go to Idaho and stumbled onto a place that, believe it or not, is a club exactly like Mission Lakes. Pretty much the same kind of amenities, golf course, etc. Member-owned, not as well run. One of the reasons we're about to get out of there. We put the house on the market late last summer because we were doing some updating. It was kind of dated. So that's going to be a full-time, it's already on the market, there's still got 2 feet of snow on the ground right now. So we expect to be back full-time at Mission Lakes here, our real home, early this spring. I served on the board here at Mission Lakes several years ago. I served 2 years as president, 2 years as vice president, 2 years as treasurer. I've been the Green Committee chair for 3 or 4 years, I can't really remember, it's been so long ago. Been active in both clubs, been on the board at Twin Lakes Village in Idaho and Mission Lakes Country Club here at the same time, doing long distance meetings with both clubs. So it's not difficult to do these days with modern technology. In my opinion, the Mission Lakes operating finances are in pretty good shape, except of course for the food and beverage situation. I've been to a few of the F&B meetings. I don't think that approach is going to bear much fruit for us. I've said that quietly to a few people. I was doing my own research online about food and beverage and came across a consultant down in Poway, which is down north of San Diego, if you don't know the area. Really good people. I talked to the guy down there and found out that he had already talked to Mission Lakes. We had called him. I really think that is the way we need to go. We need professional help. I don't think trying to solve our own problems like that with the kind of an amateurish approach. Some people on the committee won't appreciate that, but I really think professional help is needed. During one of the years when I was president, I set up a little fact-finding trips, I should say, to a few of the other clubs down in the valley, just to kind of trade ideas and get information. One of the clubs I talked to, the GM had just presented his budget to the board. His budget, and this was in probably 2005 or so. And then his budget contained a $500,000 loss in food and beverage. Now that's not acceptable. It wouldn't have been for that club either, I'm sure. They would have knocked that down quite a bit. But all the other clubs, 3 or 4 others I talked to, pretty much the same thing, not as bad as this guy, but a lot worse than Mission Lakes. At the time, we were at about 70 to 80,000 in loss. Again, to me, the professional help way is the way to go with theirs. I don't have the answer. I'm not a professional in that business. I think we need some professional help. I'm a little bit of a nerd when it comes to reserve funding. Not that I'm stupid about it. As a matter of fact, it's just the opposite. I have a lot of experience in it. When I was on the board, I was responsible for bringing Buddy Hughes and his Hughes Reserve Management program to Mission Lakes. We sat in the GM's office around the computer, saw a little online demo with Buddy and his program, and the board was impressed, and we went with it. I think Norma she's in the room. I think she was in there with us. So it kind of bugs me sometimes when people get all nervous about how much money we spend, because it's big money sometimes. And most of those big expenses are reserve expenses. Maybe it's because I'm used to big numbers when I worked in the business field and been dealing with millions of dollars at a time. But, say for example this year, the Green Committee, I think, has already committed to pulling number 12 out of the phase 2 of the master plan. I think that's where they're going. If that were to happen, let's say an aggressive scenario, we plan to spend $850,000 this year in reserves, stuff that needs to be spent. We won't do that because we never do. We never spend everything that's budgeted. At the same time, we will put into the reserve coffers almost $900,000 this year. So it's a wash. We'd come out maybe $30,000 or $40,000 ahead of where we are now, which is about $1.8 million. I wanted to just go over a little bit, Judy, because I got one other thing I want to talk about. Please understand, I'm a big advocate of the master plan. I was part of the search team that hired Casey O'Callahan. I know his background, the kind of work he's done. And when he says that we can put a driving range where we're planning to put it, I trust his judgment better than, again, the amateur approach of some of our members who say it's not safe. Well, we have 2 lakes that can easily swallow a poorly driven golf cart. We've got 15 holes lined with homes. Errant golf balls can hit people and houses. If we want to be really safe, we should shut down 15 holes and just play the hill. That's my feeling about the deal. Take it or leave it. Some of you are wondering about the wisdom of a husband and wife team running for the board. I don't think it's that big a deal. It's not as though board members don't communicate with their spouses when they're not both on the board. So it wouldn't be any different to me. But you can be the decider on that. One more question, Judy. I'm sorry. I'm going to skip over a little thing. By the way, my wife is very intelligent, super productive, very dedicated, and she's the epitome of the old pit bull adages. Don't try to take the phone away from her. I mean, she gets a hold of a project, it's going to get done, it's going to get done right. If you have a choice between us two, I'd pick her. Do a Paul Ryan move here.
Andy?
Oh, yes, Barbara.
Yes. What do you think would make the club better as a whole?
About 500 more members like you.
You, Andy?
Better as a whole, I think, to me, the only weakness we have right now is resolving the food and beverage thing. I know Mike Doyle's over there shooting darts at me, but
I love it.
But I really think we need to get some professional help. And I can tell you this, I've managed businesses for a long time, and if I was the general manager of this club, it would be fixed, trust me.
Okay.
I think I know what the problem is.
What time frame should be allowed for the master plan completion?
I don't think there should be a set time frame. I think it should be as we can afford it. The way that plan is set up, you could mix and match. You can take certain elements of it out and just do 2 instead of 3 in 1 year. That sort of thing. Like this year, if we don't do number 12, we put about a $60,000 or $70,000 reduction into that spending plan. And you could do that year after year.
Okay, and last, what are your ideas for a more successful food and beverage, limiting losses, and still providing an enjoyable experience?
You kind of already went over that.
You know, one of the things that bugs me is
You hit it all already.
there's a group here at the club that seems to be trying to create these warring factions between the membership. They've kind of perverted this website that's supposed to be used for neighborhood communications and things as their own little private issue.
Thank you, Andy.
I've never believed in social media, and I still don't, and that's just a good example of it for me. I think I answered that, didn't I?
Yeah. Okay, any questions from the audience?
Judy.
Got 4 minutes.
Thank you. My question is, would you support a member vote on the golf course renovation plan? I believe when we spend this much money, we should have some say in it.
It's not just that it's the member for the golf course plan, because you'd be voting on it every time we tried to do something. I think that the reason you elect board members and pick and I guess listen to committee members is because they study these kinds of issues. They put a heck of a lot of work into it. And the board is then educated enough, I think, to make the right kind of decisions. They're aware of our finances, and if they choose not to approve it for financial or for other reasons, that's fine. But I am in favor of it. I know what this guy is capable of, and I know some of the things our course needs. If I have in front of me a book that I have carried around for a while. All the guys that we interviewed, the architects, are in this book, as well as the master plan. I also have in here, from 2002, a piece by Ted Robinson, who was the original, not really the developer, but he took it over and finished it. And if you look at down, you get down Ted Robinson's list of things that we need to do, just felt like it was cutting out. It's almost verbatim like our master plan. The desert landscaping, the changes to 15, you know. A driving range wasn't addressed because at the time we had a driving range over here off of Augusta. That wasn't an issue, so we didn't even talk about that. But yes, I support the master plan, as we can afford it.
The question was, would you support a vote by the members?
No, I don't.
Good afternoon, Andy. As you know, you and I have served on multiple finance committees and budget meetings. In the past, on multiple occasions, you have suggested that we should raise the member dues every year, whether we need it or not, even if it's only $5. Can you tell us why you think it's a benefit to the membership to raise the dues annually? And how do you justify that to some of the members who might have been on a fixed or diminished income versus what it was when they first came here?
So, I think that is slightly misquoted, but pretty fair. I don't think I said we should do it every single year. If you obviously don't need it, you don't do it. And there are various reasons for that. A lot of the reasons are, one of the reasons we usually wind up with surplus funds at the end of the year is our personnel issues. We lose a food and beverage manager, a controller, or a general manager. So that salary money we're not paying winds up as revenue at the end of the year. That what we've chosen to do with that money in the past is to move a lot of it into this capital fund, which was a good idea. But we also have the option of using that as part of our operational budget for the coming year. If you do that kind of thing, you don't need to raise the dues all the time. However, I also believe that Mission Lakes does not reside in a time warp. Things change here just as they change for you and your household. The electric goes up, the gas goes up, everything just kind of balloons every year. It's a little bit this and a little that. I've planned, most of you people in this room have planned for that. I think Mission Lakes needs a plan for it. So yeah, I'm not against small increases on a regular basis, no.